Welcome to the Draft Utopia NFL Digest, Week 14. My name is Chris. Let's kick things off in Oakland. Denver Broncos versus the Oakland Raiders. Despite the injury of Willis McGahee, Denver played balanced football up front. Peyton Manning, 26 for 36, 310 passing yards. No Sean Moreno, 119 rushing yards on the ground. Manning threw one touchdown, one pick, which is why the Broncos won 26-13 rather than 34-13. At the end of the day, Denver still gets the W. And to be honest, the Broncos own this game from start to finish. St. Louis Rams versus the Buffalo Bills. Brandon Gibson recorded 6 receptions for 100 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. Rams quarterback Sam Bradford executes a touchdown drive late in the game that puts St. Louis up 15-12. Bills quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick throws an interception on 3rd and 19 after the Rams score. Another poor decision by Ryan Fitzpatrick in the fourth quarter. The Titans game, there was the Patriots game in New England, now this game against the St. Louis Rams. Fitzpatrick continues to make these poor decisions late in football games. It really makes you wonder if the Buffalo Bills need to go out there and get a new quarterback this offseason. Atlanta Falcons versus Carolina Panthers. Carolina's offense owned this contest from start to finish. The blocking was great. Carolina was able to run the ball, throw the ball, keep Cam Newton clean. Newton was a beast. 287 passing yards, 116 rushing yards, 3 total touchdowns, 2 through the air, 1 on the ground. Steve Smith had a block to set up the Cam Newton rushing touchdown along with 109 receiving yards. Carolina was ahead 23-0 before the Falcons got their first score. That's the major thing that stood out in this contest as Carolina wins 30-20 despite Atlanta scoring late in the game. Atlanta cannot play like this at home. I'm starting to second-guess this team's ability to win in the postseason because they're now 0-3 with losses to the Giants, Packers, and the Arizona Cardinals in the postseason. And you lose this game on the road to the Carolina Panthers, which is simply unacceptable. Falcons are 1-2 against NFC South opponents on the road. They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Raymond James Stadium, and they barely edged out the Buccaneers in that contest. They lose to the Saints on the road and the Panthers on the road. Dallas Cowboys versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Tony Romo leads Dallas on a late-game drive in an exciting contest. His late-game heroics give Dallas a much-needed win over the Bengals. Both teams go to 7-6 on the year as the Cowboys win 20-19. Kansas City Chiefs versus Cleveland Browns. Browns defense steps up in this contest. Brady Quinn was lost today, going 10 for 21 with 159 passing yards and 1 interception. Tennessee Titans versus the Indianapolis Colts. First quarter, Jared Cook Jr. He catches a pass from Jake Locker. However, he would be injured. He's now out for the season. Reggie Wayne follows that up with a 4-yard pass from Andrew Luck, which ties the game at 7. Second quarter, Rob Baronis with a 40-yard field goal, making it 10-7 for the Titans. Andrew Luck throws a pick 6 to Will Witherspoon, a 40-yard return that results in a Titans touchdown. Luck's knee was on the ground when he threw the pick, so it really wasn't an interception. However, the officiating saw no evidence, no contact at the time. They gave the Titans the touchdown anyway on a bogus play. Titans would get a field goal before leading 20-7 at halftime. Colts get 2 touchdowns in the third quarter to take a 21-20 lead heading into the fourth quarter. The Titans get a field goal, making it 23-21. Then the Colts get a field goal to lead 24-23. Colts win 27-23. The Titans played well offensively in this contest. Jake Locker was clicking, going 7 for 7 on his first few plays. The pass protection was there despite the loss of right tackle David Stewart, and Kenny Britt were all playing well early. However, the Colts overwhelmed the Titans in the second half to go to 9-4 on the year. Jared Cook Jr. was even having some promise before his injury, separating the play, moving the chains downfield. San Diego Chargers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. San Diego leads 3-0 after a shaky first quarter. Neither team wanted the game at that point. Second quarter, Phillip Rivers to Denario Alexander. Alexander gets the touchdown, 10-0 Chargers. San Diego leads 13-0 before Pittsburgh gets a field goal near the end of the half. San Diego struck lightning in the third quarter. The Chargers had a 9.5-minute drive to open up the third quarter, putting them up 20-3. Next possession, Ben Roethlisberger throws a backward pass, and that gives the Chargers a 27-3 lead as the Chargers return it for a touchdown. Some Steeler fans will argue that should not have been a touchdown. That gave the Chargers a 27-3 lead, and it pretty much changed the momentum of this football game. Imagine what happens if they don't call that play a touchdown. Maybe the Chargers don't get momentum. Pittsburgh rallies back to win the game. Who knows? At the end of the day, that touchdown pretty much sealed Pittsburgh's fate. San Diego 34-24 over the Steelers. New York Jets versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. New York opens up the lanes for Bilal Powell and Sean Green with their run blocking. That allows the Jets to go to 6-7. Powell, 78 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown on 19 carries. Sean Green had 20 carries, 77 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. The Bilal Powell and Sean Green tandem needs to be used more often to apply pressure on the defense with a two-back system. The Jets have won 3 out of their last 4 games. And maybe they have the chance to make a late-season run, but I doubt it because there's so many holes on this team at defense with pass rusher, at wide receiver. The quarterback issue is still something that needs to be addressed. Who's starting, whether it's Sanchez, Tebow, or McElroy? You still got to go with Sanchez at this point. However, there's a lot of confusion as to who should be starting, and that's really poor in terms of team chemistry. Baltimore Ravens versus the Washington Redskins. This was a crazy game. Washington goes up early. Then the Redskins trail 28-20 in the fourth quarter. Robert Griffin III gets injured. He suffers a knee injury, causing him to leave the game. He says he'd be all right, though. We'll see what happens later this week. Kirk Cousins comes in, going 2 for 2, 1 touchdown, no picks. Cousins now has 2 touchdowns and no interceptions in his brief NFL career starting as a backup. Going from backup, relieving for Robert Griffin III. Cousins could have been a starter somewhere else in free agency down the road, and there were teams looking to add him as a starter. Seahawks would have probably drafted Kirk Cousins if Russell Wilson was gone. The Colts were looking at Russell Wilson, and so were the Redskins. So Cousins was right up there with Russell Wilson. He's going to get his opportunity to start somewhere at some point down the road based on how he's played. Since Washington lands him as a 4th-round backup, they look pretty smart with both RG3 and Cousins. The Ravens are a joke for blowing that lead. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati both lose. This was a chance for Baltimore to make a statement and pretty much seal up the AFC East. The Ravens fail to deliver. They go to 9-4 after a 9-2 start. That really hurts this team's overall image. Miami Dolphins and the 49ers. It was scoreless after 1 quarter. Second quarter, it was 6-3 at halftime. Third quarter, Frank Gore gets his 50th career rushing touchdown. Aldon Smith now has 19.5 sacks on the year thanks to Jake Long's absence at left tackle for the Miami Dolphins. 49ers win 27-13. New Orleans Saints versus the New York Giants. The New York Giants did well in their 52-27 win over the New Orleans Saints. Eli Manning threw a pick 6 early to cornerback Albert Mack. Then David Wilson responds with a 97-yard kickoff return. Antrell Roll strips the ball on the following play, and Linval Joseph at defensive tackle makes the fumble recovery on the play. Eli Manning would throw to Martellus Bennett, giving the Giants a 14-7 to lead. Second quarter, it's 14-13 Giants. Dominic Hickson with a touchdown catch thanks to a big catch by Victor Cruz near the end of the first half on the previous play. Giants lead 21-13. 28-13 Giants in the second half. Eli Manning to Hakeem Nicks, giving the Giants a 35-13 lead. The Saints score on a Darren Sproles touchdown, cutting the Giants' lead to 35-20. Eli throws a pick, and then Brees throws a touchdown pass to Darren Sproles, 35-27. At the end of the day, the Giants throw up the scoreboard, 52-27 win. What were some of the keys in this game? The Giants' offensive line did their part. David Wilson had 13 carries, 100 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. Victor Cruz posted 8 receptions, 121 receiving yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. Arizona Cardinals versus the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks win 58-0. I'm at a loss of words for how poorly the Cardinals played. We'll get to the Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions game in Green Bay, and the New England Patriots Monday Night Football win in our next video.